Well, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you're all having a fantastic day. Let's go ahead and make sure you all can hear me. If you would please go ahead and in the chat box, type in the number 1 for yes. Let me know that you can. I would greatly appreciate it. Nothing worse in the world than talking to yourself for an hour without anybody hearing you. All right. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Afternoon, Kevin. Brenda, how are you, dear? Jim? Welcome, 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 one and all. Hey, Daniel, how are you? How's trading today, Daniel? Actually, everybody, how's trading going? Talk to me. How's your trading going today? Got a great day out there. What a day, what a day, what a day. There you go. Denise said 580 bucks. I love it. All right, so a little back and forth, Tom, on CRE and Q. Got it. Okay. I'm not saying that, Jim. Not at all. Brenda, I want to see your results. I want you to email me what you just did today. I want to see the trades. 200 bucks on SPY. There you go, Daniel. I love it. It's a great trade. Everybody should be doing that SPY trade that we do in Mastermind. Everybody should be doing it. Excellent. Good job. Good deal. Good deal. Well, welcome, everyone. Hope you are all doing fantastic today. Hope it's been a great day for everybody. We still got people kind of sneaking in here as we go through. Let's go ahead and jump right in. So we've got Trading You coming up on March 2nd and March 17th. Mastering the Trade coming up on the 4th. That is for those of you that are in Power Hour, Power Option Plays rather. Patterns in a Flash coming up on the 10th and the 24th. That's a bonus that Tony now does twice in a month for his group. The next Inner Circle we taught last week. Great class Friday night. We don't usually do Fridays, but it just had to be done. I wasn't feeling well at the last one, so I had to cancel and reschedule. But we're doing the 19th and the 20th. That's 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Eastern. Monster Market Movers coming up on the 25th of March. Mastermind Group is every Tuesday night. And then you got Power Hour on Mondays, and brand new, folks. I don't think I had it in here last week. I don't think. Coach's Corner, I mentioned it, I think, but I didn't have anything written down. Coach's Corner starts on March 19th. It is 12 p.m. to 1 p.m., and it's a round robin. And what I mean by that is you'll get different coaches in there. You'll have Brandon, you'll have Brian, you'll have Tony. I may pop in once in a while, right? They're going to have an hour, just like a Power Hour is, where they're going to go through their thing and the things they're talking about, and it's going to be pure education for that time period, all right? So Patterns to Success is a free training that Tony is doing on March 29th. He's got one coming up in April also. And then Power Options Plays, Covered Call Explorer, all on track this week. Remember, we changed E-mini Think Tank starting, when did that start? Today, right? To morning and not to afternoon any longer. So it's now 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Not evening. It's 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Instead of Monday night, we're doing it during the day. Right, here is our Follow Us page. Right, make sure that you are checking out the various things that we do out there. Thank you, Brenda. I appreciate you sending that off to me. John said SPY and STX, Wheel of Fortune, RAD, IBM, and XINX. There you go. Good job, John. Good job. All right. So with that, let me move that puppet down. Oh, Brenda, I have no idea. I'm not checking the email right now. I'll just make sure you send it to support, and I will definitely get it. Amelia will take care of me and make sure that we get that done. So let's go take a look at the markets. We are up 674 on the Dow, 334 on the NASDAQ, and 89.5, almost 90 points on the S&P 500. It has been a brilliant day, great trading day going on today. I truly hope you got to take advantage of it. You know, we did the update in Power Options Plays. By the way, those of you that are not in the Inner Circle, but are in Power Option Plays, if you got a chance to watch the weekend video, give me your thoughts. What did you think of that video? Right? And folks, let me tell you what we did. All right. In Inner Circle, I went in and said, all right, we're going to do a live Power Options Plays. I'm going to record it live and give them an opportunity to ask all the questions. And we talked about every trade that went through, everything that we did, why we did it. They watched me close out the trades that we had open and close new trades out. And why is that so important? Because last week, actually, let me see if I can grab it. Last week, we're looking for pop, right? Where's it going to open? It's always fun. What screen on the 6 monitors does something open up on, right? So if you look here, these are closed trades in power option plays, okay? If you look, what do we have from last week? I did an update on Tuesday, which would have been, I don't know what it was because my calendar has already been changed. Let's see. So 25 and 6, 24 and 5, 3, 4, 5, I think it was. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday would be 23, 4, and 5. Okay, so all of these trades, what row are we on? All of these trades right there were opened and or closed, and really closed for sure. They all closed between the 23rd and the 26th. Now maybe I'm not sure. Let me see. It's easier to look at February. 4, 5, 6. So not the 23s. It's 24, 5, and 6. That's the first one right in there. Okay. So all of those trades were closed out on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, which is after the last update. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We had 8 trades, two days in a row on MasterCard, right? But 8 individual trades took place last week. And what happened in there? All of those trades moved, and you can see we had one trade was a break even, we had one trade was a loss, and the other 6 then that would be were trades that moved in our direction, that were profitable had you taken those trades, right? For these examples we were talking about. And I talked about this, that you've got to be in it to win it, right? You've got to be in the market on the days that you might get a trade, to be in the market on the days when 5, 6, 7, 8 trades pop up over, in this case, over a 2-day period, right? And most of these were on the 20. We got one on the 24th, one on the 26th. So 6 trades, all of them on the 25th. You need to be in it to win it. That's the only way you will ever be successful in the market. That means you are digging your heels in every single day. Even if your setup gives you nothing today, it doesn't matter. You've got to be there. You've got to be doing it. You've got to be fighting a good fight, right? So when you look at the process, you look at the system that you have to go through, that means every day you've got something to do, right? Every single day you're in the market and you're doing whatever it is that you do in the market. But when you look at the markets and what's happened again today, this is you got to be in it to win it type day again. There are going to be different potential entries that could take place. You may see a day like today give you 4, 5, 6 entries, and depending on the positions you're looking at, you may see that there are no entries because it's gapped all the way through where you wanted it to go, and there's no trade setups in there. But you've got to take the good with the bad. When you look at the numbers don't lie, right? When you look at the numbers, if you caught it, this is monthly. We were at, it was an $80,000 week, $116,000 a month. And earlier on, we had a $17,000 week and $19,000. We lost $624 and then $80,000 in 1 week, right? And why? Is it that I'm that much better than you? No, it's because I've got a system that works. It's a following the system, right? Daniel said, I really liked it because of all of the questions everyone was asking. Yeah, and Daniel, in the next inner circle, we're actually going to go through, and the students, the members of the inner circle are actually going to be the ones that do the analysis. And they're going to analyze them, not necessarily for you guys that are in power option plays. For me, they're going to analyze the positions and say what they see, where are the targets, and do the fibs need to be changed, and all of that stuff, with me holding their hand to make sure they're doing it right. And all of them were bearish trades. Amen, right, Jim? That's exactly it. PK said, thank you for allowing us in POP to sit in with the inner circle as you went over the 20 candidates. Yeah, absolutely, PK. And I've even taken that video and made it a permanent video. If it isn't there yet, it will be, but it's going to be a permanent video on the members page under the bonus videos. That's going to stay, because again, I think it's an additional training that you can really, really, really dig your heels into to get a good learning from, good education from. So great move on the S&P, good strong push up, and it's just rocked. If we look here, at all symbols. Probably should make this a little narrower. What do you think? I don't think I needed that wide. Let's go over to template number 2. Oh, wait, didn't shorten. Why not? Okay. Let's go to the S&P 500. Now you can see all the fibs and all of that on there, right? Oh, I don't have intraday turned on. I turn it on for you guys. I don't use it for myself because I'm using my intraday charts. Okay, there we go. Look what happened. I talked about this in power option plays last week, where how tight we were, and look where we were on the close on Friday, how tight we were on the moving averages, that we could, if we dropped more and violated the 618, drop more, we could see a flip of the moving averages where the 8 drops down through the 21. I said, but if this is the catalyst, if this is the bounce point right here, then this would keep the moving averages in the correct order, meaning the pink on the top, the green in the middle, and the brown on the bottom. And that's exactly where we are right now. Everything remained in place. And where are we, not this second, but where are we sitting right about now is about that 3,900 level, right? If we look at the S&P 500 right now, it's 3901. So we just got up through it. So new all-time highs, are we? Well, no, you're up here. 39.50.43 is the all-time highs, right? But are we close? Yes. Am I upset it's not an all-time high? No. I don't want an all-time high today. That would be a mistake. We cannot have this complete recovery in one day. If you want strength, we need to build. I talked about this the other day. By the way, who's when you guys saw me talk about, I don't remember where we did this. I don't remember what class I did. We talked about CCI and how I use it in the recovery. And I talked about when CCI bottoms out below that 250, we've got 2 to 3 days at best before, 1 to 2 days normally. Sometimes you'll see 3, but 1 to 2 days after that is when you start to see the recovery. And we got it. 2 days later, we got the recovery on the S&P. We were way oversold. Why? Because this reaction was too quick. Now, with that being said, we went over this in here last week. I actually used this document, these lines from last week. This 10% correction is really what I was hoping to see, and not in big candles. I really wanted that pain to drag out for a couple of weeks, just bearish, little bounce. Oh, tomorrow gaps down, a little bit more down, and it went flat. It went up a little bit. It came down. I really was hoping to see that happen here, and it did not. It was in Monster Market Movers I did it, and I also did it in Inner Circle with Pop. Okay, yeah, and I purposely did it there because I had gone over it somewhere. I just didn't remember, because I taught 2 things on one day. I do a team meeting, company training every Thursday with my team, where everybody from the company is invited to come in and ask questions on the market. I didn't remember if I did it there or if I had did it in Monster Market Movers, and it was in Monster Market Movers that I did it. So thank you for that, Daniel. I appreciate it. But with that being said, we're back in action again. Now, does that mean we're bullish right now? Well, we're in a bullish bias this second. Keep that in mind. That doesn't mean we're going bullish today. We could flip around. I need a close. And in an ideal world, my close would be a little bit higher than the 3,900 level. I really don't want to bump my head on ugly and stop there. I'm right up against a resistance level. I don't want to have to fight that tomorrow morning. I'd love to see us close up at 39.10, 20. I don't care. Just get me above that 3,900 a couple of points. And then tomorrow, pull back. And if I can get the pullback tomorrow and bounce off of that 3,900, 3,889, really 3,890 level, which really should be a blue zone in there. If I can get the bounce off of there and use it as a catalyst, life is good, my friends. Life is good. That's the Katie bar of the doors. I'm looking for, bullish trades up to that 39.50.43. And once we get there, we'll decide, the market will decide, but we'll figure out what the next step is. But we're not going to figure that out until we approach that level. What does the market look like? What does volume look like? What fears are out there at this point, right? Why is the market flipped around? It was the email you guys got today, right? It's the recovery. Why the recovery? Well, the vaccines, Rob, we've had vaccines. And now we got a third one. Janssen & Janssen approved their vaccine, right? They're shipping it today. States will have it, and tomorrow some states will have it. They can start using this vaccine for purposes they can't use the other ones for. Great example. My father-in-law is homebound. He cannot leave, right? He doesn't leave the house, right? To get him to a doctor's office, we can, but it's very much burdensome for my 80-year-old mother-in-law and an aide to try to get him to a doctor for a COVID shot or a facility. They don't drive. So what are you going to do? Put him on a train and get him into New York City to Jacob Javits Center, right? Really? But now with this new vaccine, it doesn't require the refrigeration that the other ones do. Regular refrigerator, and it can be out of the refrigerator for a couple of hours and still be viable. So now the aides, the nurses, when they come to visit him, can use that, not just for him, for everybody that's in that situation. Oh, but the single shot is not as good. Forget that. Forget about not as good. Right now, it is the immunization, the herd immunity type thing that they're talking about. And guys, if you're against the vaccine, then don't get it. That's okay. Okay. We're talking about market here. All of these things are being perceived well on the market. Is the vaccine having a big part on what's going on with the numbers dropping? It's having part, not a big part yet. What happens over the next couple of weeks and or months will show. That will be the telltale. Okay. That will be the telltale of what's taking place there. But when we start looking then at stocks, what kind of stocks, you guys tell me, what kind of stocks do you think are recovery stocks? Put them in you can put symbols if you want, but let's see. I'm going to give this a shot, but I think it's Lisa, but I don't know if I'm pronouncing it or not. Lisa with a J, okay? How much do you think the partial passage of a stimulus bill affected the spike up? Well, I think that has something to do with it, but I don't see this bill passing the way it is. So unless the president goes around and does something different, uses the Emergency Act that he's been touting about, right? It's very possible, but I don't think a whole lot. So let's see, what do we got here? Robert said, like volleyball, set and spike over the top. Exactly, Robert. All right, so let's see, leisure and travel related, airlines, cruise lines, vacation rentals, cruise lines, long-term, recovery sectors or travel industry, sports events. Airlines and cruise companies are recovery stocks. The latter, Robert, without a doubt, the latter. Okay. And you and I are just going to leave that there, Robert. Okay. So, I've got a couple on my list. All right. What's the catalyst for today? What's the trigger? Johnson & Johnson. They're the trigger today. All right. Wait for it. All right. This stock is the reason behind a big part of the move, I believe, is what's going on here, right? Not the move per se, but the move behind the market. Why are these types of stocks, when Johnson & Johnson says, oh, we got approved, why are we not seeing the bounces in here with that taking place? Well, here's the way that it works, right? The expression is buy on rumor, sell on fact. Fact is out. Yes, it's being delivered. So what? What's next? Johnson & Johnson, what have you done for me lately? Right, it's a feel-good move in the market. Exactly, Robert. What have you done for me lately? You're not seeing it here. It's not where you're going to see this take place. But are there some where we can see recovery happening? How about airlines? I'll start with American Airlines. Why? Because we're in America. Why not? Okay. American Airlines, there's the price of the stock right there. Boom. Nice little pop. All right. I love it. Oh, but Rob, I didn't catch it, today. Well, sorry. I've been touting it for 2 weeks now. I have some myself, American Airlines. I had some up in here, got out, waited a little bit, picked some more up, and this has been a phenomenal move for us. Okay, Robert, I'll keep that in mind. But American Airlines, I like them a lot, right? Delta Airlines. Let's see, 3-1. There we go. All right? A little bit of a pop, giving some back, right? If you look at American, you look at Delta, they were both at support, moving averages or near them on Friday. So the opportunities were there. Jim said, I've not heard, but Warren Buffett bought back into airlines recently. Excuse me. Maybe. I haven't followed him, although I own some of his stock, the Berkshire stock. I really haven't followed what he's doing. I heard something on CNBC this morning where he was apologizing for results. You know, not really sure, but I know normally they beat the S&P handsomely, and that has not been the case recently. LUV, I don't know what JVA is, but LUV is Southwest Air, right? Here's another airline company. Right? And then you've got to be careful. Here, watch. Cruises. Royal Caribbean. Right? Let's go back to yesteryear. Go back to a time before COVID. Right? Last year, right, the beginning of January, here's Royal Cruise Lines. People started getting sick. We didn't know what was going on. We kind of based in there, and here we are in February when we fall apart. So we were upwards of $130, $120, right in that range there, depending on where you caught it, right? And what's happened now to Royal Caribbean? Well, they're back at $91, so there's still room to go, but they had a tremendous gain. They had a tremendous gain in this period of time, right? You look at a Carnival Cruise Lines, excuse me. They're still 50% off of their all-time high, right? They've got a lot of room to go. Am I telling you to pick one over the other? No. I'm pointing out a fact is all it is. That's all it is, right? A fact. Here, so Brenda said Moderna, right? Pattern look familiar? Pfizer. Pattern look familiar, right? Back to yesteryear. Here we were, January. There's the fail. And even with this great vaccine, they're not there, right? Robert said Jets, which is an airlines ETF. You can see where we were holding steady at this $32 level, right? Right now we're at 26, so we've come a long way back already. How are options on this one, Robert? Are they decent? I haven't traded Jets. I very much go after the Americans and the Deltas. I don't trade Southwest Airline very often. I've traded it before, but it's not my favorite airline to trade. Jets. Bruce said, why isn't Pfizer doing that well? It's kind of the buy on rumor, sell on fact, Bruce. It's already out. The news is out. It's done. It's passed. You know, the market's always looking for what's the next best thing, right? So if I were looking to day trade this, plenty of open interest, 75 by 84. Okay. Interesting. If I wanted to go a little bit further out, let's say to September, plenty of open interest. So if I'm looking at a 24, and I am looking at a so what are we looking at here for this diagonal? We would have a $3 difference in there. We're paying $4.62, call it $4.60. So $1.60 at 30 cents. Yeah, a little too long for payback time. Not really my cup of tea for a diagonal. Too much payback time. I really want to see things that are 2 to 3 weeks payback, 4 at most. But for a straight directional trade, maybe something worth looking at. Like I said, I haven't traded this one before. I appreciate you saying it though, Robert. Yeah, from a straight directional trade, it doesn't look bad. Bruce, does that make sense on Pfizer? I hope that helped. Let me know if that made sense to you. Yeah, it's back on the juice. Water. I went to a Catholic school for grammar school. I was an altar boy. Yeah, I was a good kid. I don't know what happened. Anyway, the priest hands me something, a glass, and says, take this to the bishop and tell him, and this is on the altar, and I'm in 4th grade. Bishop, here's your dry Beefeater martini. I had no idea what the hell I was saying. Okay? And the bishop giggles, the priest giggles. I come back inside. It was the bishop's aide. He's on the floor rolling that he actually got me to say it. Dry Beefeater martini, I'm telling the bishop. That was an experience to say the least. Exactly, Bruce. Same with any of the drug companies. Anybody that's involved, that's a secondhand company to these drugs, they are looking for, traders, investors are looking for what else? All right, you've already got, yeah, okay, great. The vaccine's great. So what? What are you doing now? What's next? Yeah, when I went to Catholic school, why is one of my ears longer than the other? Sister Mary Rayhill would beat the daylights out of us with a poker. She was 4'7", and I would put her against Hulk Hogan, and she would win. There's no question. She would win, right? So you look at hotels, right? You got things like Marriott, as far as hotels go, right? 5, okay. Right, great recovery, right? If we go back, and I mean, look, 120 guys in the last couple of weeks, right? If we go back and look, let's go a little bit further. No, we're good right here. So where are we? We've recovered. We've absolutely recovered already from where we were, right? February, there's the drop, and we've gotten back up. My daughter is my oldest is a nurse. She's down in Universal right now. The hotel that they're staying in is Universal Hotel, but they told them when they booked the room, that room is left empty for a minimum of 24 hours, upwards of 48 hours before we will rebook anybody into that room, right? That's the level that some of these hotels are going through to try to get people to come and to spend some money there. And she said Universal as a park is empty. All right, so let me go take a look at what's going on today. If we look, Apple had a great recovery so far today. It's up $5, right? Phenomenal move. If we look at just based on change, Tesla is $39 recovery today. Great move. If you look at the daily chart, it has been bearish for a couple of weeks now. We had a real strong recovery on it today, right? No gap fills, which you didn't have a lot of those today at all. Google is got a $36 gain today. Nice, again, gap up, pull back, nice move overall. Amazon not faring as well. Still doing well, don't get me wrong. Still doing well. But what's some of the fundamental issues that Amazon is dealing with right now? What do you guys know about Amazon? What's happening? Exactly, Tom. It's all the union stuff that's going on, right? All the union stuff that's going on is, the Biden supporting the new CEO might have something to do with it as well, right? But Biden supporting the unions. He was on. They had a clip of him on before on CNBC. That I'm not telling you to join a union or not, but I am telling you that I do support unions and support you joining unions. And although I can't tell you to join a union, the last person that can tell you not to join a union is the employer. They cannot tell you that you can't do that. So his support is there for unions, right? And good, bad, or indifferent, that really is up to you. I have always found personally that unions have held me back. I've made more money when I left the union than when I was working in a union, but that was me. That's because I'm a hustler. I'm a go-getter. No one stops me from working, right? I'm going to bust my bun to get it done. Ooh, that was a funny. But they're not doing well. And they're saying that Amazon will be one of the biggest problems with the union issues will be Amazon rather. It's going to be Amazon that will be the one that has some of the biggest issues. Yeah. Oh my goodness gracious. Okay. So Amazon, it may be recovering a little bit today, but how many of you are bullish on Amazon that it is now up $31? Are you bullish on Amazon right now? Go figure, Robert. Well, and Bruce, I'm not saying that Trump didn't support it, but Biden is just a little bit more on the aggressive side of supporting it. But I'm not saying he didn't support it. And listen, I think that there are places and times for it, but realize UPS has been the absolute biggest culprit of manipulation of unions since the start. And what do? They hire people part-time so they don't pay them benefits, right? And now are you going to say, no, you're not allowed to have part-time employees? That gets into a whole different can of worms. No, I'd rather have 200 employees that are part-time than 100 full-time. In case some of them don't show up, I've got choices, right? I've got enough people to do what I'm doing there, right? You don't think companies are going to do stuff like that? You don't think companies are going to spend more money on more automation, right? Do you think some companies are going to go out of business because of it? Or let's rephrase that, maybe not go out of business, but shift some of the business overseas where you don't have unions. Walmart's another example. Yeah. Although Costco just stepped up and they put $16 minimum wage, minimum income, minimum earnings, salary. As company wide. Pass on the cost to the consumer. And listen, guys, let me just back up. Everybody deserves a fair wage, whether you are the color of your skin, you're male or female, it doesn't matter. Everybody deserves a fair wage. But I need somebody to justify for me how a 16-year-old going to high school, working at McDonald's, deserves the same minimum wage that a person that is trying to support their family does working for another company. It doesn't work. It absolutely doesn't work. And if you don't think that there's a cost associated with that, there is. Congress has estimated 1.4 million jobs lost on the raising of the unilateral raising of minimum wage. Okay? Right or wrong, I don't know. I wasn't part of the committee. They forgot to ask me this time. They promised me they would. They didn't. They're bad. They missed out on some good insight. Right? Is it going to happen because of that? I don't know. Are companies going to raise prices? Yeah, they are. Are people losing their jobs? Yeah, they are. Period. You're going to see it. Is more technology going to be introduced? Do you see the same amount of people working at McDonald's today that you used to? Heck no. My wife worked at McDonald's. She was an assistant manager in high school. And you had 5 registers open all the time. Now you got 1. Right? You got kiosks over there. You place the order. You can put the order on your phone. You can order by Uber Eats. You can pull up through the drive-through. And they got 1 person there. They got a couple of cooks. 1 person in the front, 1 person on the window. And that's pretty much what you're going to have. Are they going to cut staff out completely? This is a cashless location. You can't pay by cash. Only pay by card. And you're going to have a runner that's just there to get your order. Mary, Bill, Frank, Rob. That's it. That's it. All right? Amazon is only one of the companies that are going to suffer. This is a very ugly picture. And when I say suffer, again, I'm not against unions. Absolutely not. I'm not against unions. I am against the mistreatment of individuals, period. Everybody deserves a fair wage, but we really have to make it a broader spectrum of fair. Tripp, who lives in Tennessee, we were talking about this the other day. Again, I don't know where it was. It might have been an Inner Circle. Is cost of living there cheaper than it is here in New York where I live? And he goes, heck yeah. Right? So think of $15 an hour in Tennessee versus $15 an hour in New York. How is that fair? How is that fair? All right. All right. Anyway, guys, I've had good experience. You know, I'm seeing a lot of mixed feelings on unions. I've had good experiences. I've had bad experiences with them, right? I had to pay $500 at a New York City construction job to bring a 2-pound bucket of screws up to the second floor with the elevator. When I said I had to pay $500, the guy had a newspaper, the elevator operator. He had a newspaper. He's reading the Wall Street Journal, right? And I was there with, he didn't know me. I was dressed in coveralls. I was there with the supervisor of the job who worked for me. And we pulled up and he said to the guy, listen, we need to go upstairs and give our guys some screws. And the guy puts the newspaper down on the table and says, the elevator's busy. And he taps on the newspaper. Sonny peels a $100 bill off and he drops it in the newspaper. The operator turns the page over, says, the elevator's busy. $500 later, he brought us upstairs to bring the bucket of screws up. I said, Sonny, why don't we just walk up the stairs? He said, because 2 things would happen. Number one, your elevator time tomorrow will be 4 p.m. while all your union guys are standing there waiting to get the stuff. And number 2, they'll destroy your trucks while you're trying to bring it up. Oh, okay. A little bit of corruption. Yeah, I definitely got it over the screws, Robert. Yeah, my fellow Tennessean, Trip. He's a good guy, Trip. Grocery stores, department stores are all going to kiosks. And I mean, they have to. Oh yeah, Joyce, it was terrible. I wanted to beat the guy senseless. And we're talking about in the 80s. And these guys, the elevator operators then were making 6 figures without what they were doing to people. Yeah, I just don't know which 10 commandments they were following, Jim. Talk about corruption. Yeah, for sure. So Amazon is only one of them, guys, that are going to get stuck, right? You got a lot of companies like it that are going to have problems over some of the choices being made. And I'm not saying that the choices are wrong. There's going to be some good things that come out of this for sure. There are people that need more money, right? There are people that deserve more money. I just don't know how we can unilaterally do that and not affect markets, businesses, and think about it. In this economy, in this environment, when businesses are struggling so much, and now to say we're going to raise, and I understand they're not raising it all at once, but I saw a local company yesterday, $86,000 in back rent. They're being sued in New York, even though Cuomo says you can't evict somebody, they're suing for eviction. The woman says, I have no employees. I can't pay the bills anymore. I can't even pay electric. How am I going to come up with the 86 grand I owe? I barely can keep the doors open. And I feel for the landlord. That's me too. We're in the same situation. We got tenants all over the place that can't come up with rent, right? So Amazon, right? We talked about Apple, right? Let's go back and put this back in perspective. Let's look at 1 or 2 more, and then I'll take your candidates that you guys want to look at. We'll go look at Netflix. Right? Netflix is always the bad market, bad economy. Netflix will always thrive. They've been kind of choppy, right? The last couple of days, you can see Friday, up and down, up and down. Today, it's been a nice little move. But Netflix gave a great opportunity right here on that moving average cross, and the retest was a great opportunity for a bullish entry. On Netflix, we had it as a day trade, right? We were looking at 542 and 546 as our resistances. So we gapped up. Look at that. I called 546 as resistance, right? And we gapped up to 546. That's about where we opened up. We pulled back. We got down here to 543 and gave you a nice run to 546. And then if we look, let's bring it in. Right? And that 46 was our moving averages, right? Our next resistance is 548. So I said 42 and 46. So we were down here, right? That was Friday. We're looking at here and here. We hit both of them. We opened there. And now we're looking at the 558.5 as our next. Moving averages are in the right order. Give me a close here today and a pullback and a bounce. And there's the opportunity for the move up at that 558 level, right? Robert said, this COVID is a huge trickle-down effect. We just have to wait and see how bad it will be. Exactly. There's so much that's going to be affected by it that we have absolutely no idea. Now, the businesses that have been able to pivot and shift into this market, this new market and this new way of having to do business will be much better off for it, without a doubt. They'll be in a much better place than they were. All right, cool. All right, so guys, give me some symbols you want me to take a look at. Let's go ahead and rock on with these. Paula said HIMX. So just drop them in the chat box there. Who are they? Semis, okay, semiconductors. So let's go back and look at time historically, weekly. All right, so they're at all-time highs. They're at all-time highs. I don't even have a real good place to draw from. I don't have a real good V bottom in here anywhere. Even this, I mean, this is not a V in here. So I'm looking right now, Paula, at probably around 16.5 as resistance. So if we can get a close above the 8, somewhere above the $14 level, and a retest of it tomorrow in a bounce, then I'm looking at about 16 bucks as our target. Right, set your stop somewhere below the 21. All right, let's look at Brenda said AMD. So PK said, do you intraday trade more off a retest and a bounce off of the fib, or a retest and a bounce off the moving averages, or moving average cross? Yes, PK, all of them. I wouldn't say it's a more of, it's waking up and saying, what do I want to have for dinner today? Right? And you open up the refrigerator because I don't want to go out anywhere. So what do I have that I can cook with? Right? Well, what's the market giving me? Those are the ingredients. Right? If at the end of the day, it's this. I will take, so on AMD, I would take AMD, PK, and I would say, let's snap in the 87.20 line. Let's snap in the 83.16 line. And then let's snap in the $86 line. That's the moving average, right? And if this was the close of the business today, of the market. And then tomorrow, I'm looking to see if I can get a move down. Those lines are going to be my targets. If I can get a moving average cross, I'll take that cross and I'll use it as a target. Right? Make sense, PK? All right, so let's go back to AMD. This was Brenda. Okay, so I mean, those are my numbers, Brenda. 83.16 is my target. Right? Somewhere above 87.29 is probably where I'd look at a stop. Right? But definitely on the bearish side, lower highs, lower lows. Easy enough to see on that one. All right, MU. Trip, you here today, man? You seeing MU, Micron? Let's see. We probably need to have a new fib drawn in there. Let's see. Right there. Right, 81, 83, we're good. Fibs are good. So 91 and 96, $4.50 in there. We've got, yeah, so we don't need fib, it's in there. So Brenda, we're looking at 91.5 as support and 96 as resistance. We're in the middle of nowhere today. So I need to get the pullback to the 91.5 before considering anything on this. Right, Robert's asking for Etsy. All right, so Etsy took another nice bounce. If we go back and look, Etsy has been on an absolute OMG tear. It has been phenomenal, right? All-time highs again today. Their moves have been great. So if we close here, Robert, I mean, we're looking at 238.5 as resistance, as support. What do I have for a Fibit in here? 29 bucks. So if we call it 39 to 49.59, 69 would be $30. Yeah, so we don't need any Fibits in here, so we're good. So we're looking at about 263 as resistance, Robert, on Etsy. KR, is that Kroger? Kroger, okay. Okay. You know who's one? I don't know if they're publicly traded. I haven't looked into them yet, but Lidl is one that's opening up. A lot of them out on Long Island here. They bought a new chain out here. We're starting to see ads for it coming out. Everything that I read about them is very progressive, very low cost, very low cost. Centralized phone numbers, so you're not wasting manpower at the stores answering phones. Very, very low cost, right? So check that. LIDL, I think is the spelling of it, guys. I just don't know if they're public. So Robert, kind of ugliness happening in here. We definitely can put a fib, but that wick is so far out. I don't know what this line is, so I'm just going to delete it for now. We push back up. Oh, we got earnings coming up too. Be careful. 30 to 33, $3. We would need to split this. 2 to the 5 is 3. Yeah, we need to split both of them. So we need a negative 136 and a 118. All right. So if we get the continuation down, Robert, 31.5, I'm not ready to take anything bullish until the 8 makes it at least above the 55, the pink above the brown line at a minimum. All right. Keith's asking for CGM. Hope that helped, Robert. Let's see. Let's try that again. CGM. Nope, not Keith. It's not coming up. So either it is not on this, or you might have a different symbol. See, recheck it and let me know. FVRR, which is Fiverr. Yeah, who's asking for this? Leeds, great place for it, my friend. Great place. Moving average sitting right at the 283 level. FVRR. I will be looking at a diagonal when we're done here today, right? For this, pull back to the 283 in the bounce and look at 303. Actually, you need a 300 level in there, but you would look at that 300, 303 confluence as resistance. Stop would be somewhere down below the 8 moving average. Henry's asking for big airplane. Hope that helped, Leeds. I'm seeing a lot of questions coming in there. So Jim said, be careful on Kroger, 3-4 of the earnings. Appreciate that, Jim. Thank you. Okay, Keith. Got it. Okay, so big airplane. So I have not followed the case. I know they were going to do an investigation on the engines, or they're going to pull it apart after this one fell out of the sky, right? I don't know whatever the outcome was, but if it's not news-based, if the news is great, then we're good. We should see that climb back up. You know, I wouldn't be surprised to see it back up at that 245-ish level. And it's had a great run and not a big pullback whatsoever, only down to the 382. Right now, give me a close above the 232, or retesting the bounce, and you've got 234. I'm sorry, a close above the 223. I think I might have said 33. A close above the 223 with a resistance of the 234. If it's pushing downward, Henry, I would do nothing with it because I need the moving averages are off. It's too tight of a space. That would be the only trade that I would take on. It would be that. Barring just a day trade. Market goes haywire and you want to take the downside, go for it by all means. All right, hope that helped. CRWD. All right, which is CrowdStrike Holdings. All right, so it's pinned between the moving averages. I would be very cautious, Leads, on CRWD. Get me above that 227 before considering anything. All right, Oscar is asking for Nike. All right, earnings are coming up roughly 318, so be cautious of that. We're overall, it's a neutral bias if we close right here. The only thing I would want to take would be bearish, which would only happen below the 136. But even that, Oscar, it's a little bit tight on this fib. It works, but I don't have a whole lot of room. What does Nike move? They move $3.50 a day, so I'd be a little cautious with this one. Right? I would like to see a little bit more room on the fibs, and we just don't have it right now. As for DG goes, which is Dollar General, I have nothing. Had down as a channel. My channel pattern had just been broken within the last couple of days since we did Monster Market Movers. We broke the pattern. Okay, let's set that, pull that out. All right, 85 to 92 is 7. We've got 8. We don't need a fib in there. So if we can get the close up near that 193 level, Oscar, I'm looking at 185 as the downside target. Stop, assuming the 8 would continue down a little bit, stop would be somewhere above that 8. Sure, Kevin's asking on the GDX, which is gold. All right, GDX in an overall slide, gold. So the thoughts, and Kevin's question was, what are your thoughts on gold and the GDX possibly? So gold is normally, not always, is normally a hedge against a bearish market or an uncertain market, not bearish, an uncertain market, right? Flight to safety is what it's called, right? People are yanking their money out of the market and putting it in gold, where gold then tends to turn and run and do its thing, right? And we're not seeing that right now. We're seeing just these horrible, horrible, horrible moves. I mean, if we go and look, the true testament is here. That's YM. All right, so here we've got gold. Now this is a 5-minute chart. I'm going to change this over to a daily. Come on, TradeStation. There you go. See, you can do it. All right, we look at the daily chart. August was our highs, and we've been just plummeting ever since. Now, let me get rid of some of this stuff back here. All right, good enough. Okay, so we had a nice run up as COVID took over, as we started to see some better numbers, right? Gold had it had a nice push it to the very end, and then the collapse came pretty fast on the start of it anyway, right? And then we've been in this downward spiral. We're looking at right about where it is now, that 1700 level as a potential support. If not, we've got, not a whole lot down there that's of any validity until we get to about that 1650-ish level. So gold itself, I would be very careful from any standpoint, but from a bullish standpoint, again, it becomes more of a hedge, and we're not there at this point with it being a hedge, right? Because the markets are not playing nice. So I have removed much of my own personal gold and or silver this year. I've already gotten rid of most of it. So Apple was Mike. Hey, Mike. So where are we at? We're in bearish territory right now. Bearish neutral a little bit. We just got above the 8. We're still intraday yet. We really need to see a close above that 21 moving average, Mike, which takes us to about that 130-ish level. We're not that far away. I mean, it's moved, what, $5 or $6 today? $5 right now. So we're not that far away. The potential is there. I would be cautious on anything bullish. With market's doing great, but if we can get a turnover, I have Apple Leaps right now for 2021 that I've been writing calls against for a while, and I'm not writing calls on them. I'm holding my Apple position. Right. And it's down a little bit from where I was. And someone had asked me, a friend of mine, why didn't you sell it? I said, sell it. Why? If I've written covered calls on it, diagonals, week after week after week after week for months, why would I sell it? I own it at like $1 or $2 or something. Why am I going to sell it? I think Apple's coming back. Right. And we've got other things we're doing. We're buying some puts on it. So we're extending our leverage there. We're doing some credit spreads, some bear calls to extend our leverage there. Right. But Apple, what are you going to take away from Apple? They recovered again as the world leader in cell phones. It was Samsung, and now it's back to Apple again. So I'm really happy about Apple. I like them. I like them right now. Bearish if they get this flip over, or not bullish until we get above the 21, which right now is at 129.5. Darlo, how are you doing? Plug, PLUG. They were a great naked put last week. Right? They had a nice little bounce. Premiums were great on it. Expired wonderfully. Right? And now where is it? It's in this funk right here of we're in a neutral bias. We got this gap up. Earnings out. Right? I'm assuming the accuracy was there, but the earnings are out. And we got this nice move back up again. And what's going on? I would be cautious on doing anything with it. At this point in a neutral bias, we're pinned between moving averages. I'm not a fan of trying to trade it there. But if we break that 49.94, Darlo, 46.25 is your target for a bearish trade. Let's see. Bum, 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 bum. Jones asking for Wayfair. All right. So, Joan, when I look at this, I feel agita, right? My stomach bothers me. I ate something bad. So I'm not a fan of it, of trying to trade this. There's too much uncertainty with the whipsaw. The moving averages are all over the place. I don't like it one bit. Not at all. I mean, the best I could do is pull a fib from here. And based on the fibs, look, that's where we are right now. Right, I would still need pullbacks to that 288 before I want to take anything. Or if you're not worried about the moving averages, get me above the 316, close, bounce, and 329 would be the next target in there. There you go, Keith. CMG. You know, I should have figured that out instead of CGM. Chipotle Mexican Grill. We were on Friday. We were in a neutral bias, and we were in a bearish neutral bias. We flipped, and right now we're in bullish. I like where the 21 is. I prefer the 8 on top, Keith. But right now, if we get a pullback to the 382, which is that 1468 in a bounce, that's where I'm looking to take the potential entry off of this trade with a target of that 1500 level coming up in there. Let's see. I got enough time for one or two more, folks. Let's see. Pins. All right, $80 stock. Let's get a fib on here. Okay, we're looking for a move. 81.80 to 84.37 doesn't give me a whole lot of room in there. For this one, Joyce. Just it's not there. I would prefer to wait for it to get above the 84.37 level, and then you've got almost $90 as a target in there at that negative 618. Thank you for that, Robert. Let's see. All right, so Robert said, unfortunately, you can't buy stock in Lidl. The parent company is Schwartz Group, is privately owned family company, completely controlled by Dieter Schwartz and family. Got it. Maybe. Sorry, Bruce. I didn't know what you meant with compared to Bitcoin. I can only see maybe 10 lines of comments, and that was about 8 or 9 pages down where I am now, just kind of checking the end to see if there's any questions or comments I missed. Doubled my money on that naked put last week. There you go. There you go. Tom, is that one I put up in the mastermind group last week? Oh, gold versus Bitcoin. Yeah, as salty. Yeah, Bitcoin is definitely an interesting one, without a doubt. You had asked about it. Okay, got it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. I hope it was helpful. Stay focused on the quest to becoming a great trader. Keep crushing it. And remember, folks, you're just one trade away. I will see all of you at next week's. Hey, get yourself registered for some of the free trainings you got coming up from Tony and look for Coach's Corner. Take care, folks. See you then.